From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hey, y'all, it's Caroline Gant.
Hey, y'all, it's just kidding. It's Tyler Blankenship.
What? Where's Austin?
Austin?
He's not here today.
No, he's not.
Gotcha.
No.
He's on vacation. He's probably out looking at plants right now.
Yes, and while we miss the sound of his voice, he probably doesn't miss this place right now as he's getting much needed R&R after the busy season. We're all going to take our turn. So
you're up next.
Yeah.
I can't leave until our little butterflies emerge. Y'all, listeners, listen to this. We found, so Bridget on Saturday found 4 Monarch caterpillars back on our milkweed. So Tyler had a little enclosure and he went and picked it up, and we have them safely in an enclosure right now. Then Bridget proceeded to find 2 more. So we now have 6. And then we got a bigger enclosure that is how many inches tall, Tyler?
30
inches tall. So we can fit plenty of very tall plants for them to feed on, milkweed in there. And we have 2 that have formed their little chrysalis right now that are just dangling, and 4 more that are on their way.
That's right. It's a chrysalis Christmas over here.
It really is. Bridget sent me a text this morning before I got to work, and she was so excited about it.
Yes. Now, it could take up to 2 weeks before we actually see any butterfly emergence happen. So we will be anxiously awaiting that moment, but also documenting it on the Bates Nursery Instagram, and probably cross-posting to Gardening Inside Out as well.
Oh, definitely.
And talking about it on the show.
Right here. All the time we will be talking about it. Like I said, I'm not taking a vacation until those little butterflies fly away. I am here.
She's here.
Forever.
She will be here. I will probably go because I've kind of got stuff in the works already, but yeah.
But you will be gone.
I will be gone temporarily, probably when they emerge. That would be the timing of it for me.
I'll live stream. I'll just keep calling you until you answer your phone.
That'd be fine.
To make sure you see it. To make sure you're a part of these little babies' lives, because you've been here since the start, just about. Since we found them.
Yeah.
Since we brought him into our home.
All those days ago.
3 days ago. It's been so long. It's been a wild ride.
It really has. We've made sure that they have what they need. There's also poop everywhere.
I never realized how much they poop. Yeah. It's insane.
But when they take an entire plant down in 2 days,
y'all, they are like little munchers. They can just decimate a whole plant. Like a plant in a 1-gallon pot, like a pretty healthy, bigger sized plant. They just ate all the leaves, just stripped it.
Yeah, and that's exactly why we got a bigger enclosure, because we needed to fit those 1-gallon mature plants in there so they can completely obliterate them.
Yes. And you know what's fun? If you were located in the Nashville, Tennessee area, you can come by and visit them. We have them up in the houseplant greenhouse, so you can come look at them. I mean, there's always a staff member standing in front of it just staring at one of the enclosures. We have 2 because some had formed already. So the ones that still were, crawling around, we put in the taller enclosure. So we have the 2 side by side. So if it's busy, you'll still be able to get in there and see it, since there is double trouble.
Butterfly bubbles.
It's very strange not having Austin in here, because now I'm just staring at Tyler.
Yeah, we're staring at each other.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and usually Austin would be like, yeah, I love that, Caroline.
I thought Austin was in the room for just a second.
I mowed my lawn yesterday.
Well, you know what I did do yesterday? I know we always talk about what we did on our day off.
You sent photos too.
I sent photos. I finally put up stakes and everything I need to stake my cucumbers, my tomatoes, get my butternut squash up a little bit. But I usually do kind of makeshift things. I'm not quite as neat and tidy as these 2, Tyler and Austin, even though Austin's not in the room. He's still considered here. But I sent some little weird things that I did just to see if they would work. Like some cattle fencing tied really up high on some bamboo stakes. I don't know if it feels very sturdy right now. It's also tied to my raised bed. So it's not just stakes in the ground, because that would have just fallen over right away. But it feels super sturdy right now. So we'll see. But I had to get something going, because all of my stuff was just like growing over my raised beds. They need to be growing up, not over.
That's right.
Especially them little cucumbers.
Yeah.
Because my cucumber plants look so good. Last year they looked like crap. I got like one really terrible looking cucumber, and then they all just died.
Wow, that's rough.
It was, thank you. It was very, very rough.
Yeah, I'm going to commiserate that with you.
It was a hard time. But yeah, I got those staked up. Got a lot of other things planted that I had, just some random things in little tiny pots, perennials, herbs. But you know, Tyler.
What?
The big thing I did.
Yeah.
The thing that Austin would be most proud of me for doing.
Yes.
I bought on Sunday, planted on Monday, the Hayes Starburst hydrangea.
Wait.
It's
You planted it within 24 hours?
I planted it within 24 hours. It's an arborescence type. And so I planted it in a little bit of shade. I actually put it in a pot. Didn't have to dig a hole, but I got it planted within 24 hours. Yes, Tyler. Can you believe it?
Whoa. Well, you know.
And it's this really cool hydrangea I had never seen before. And I was up in houseplants and Austin came bursting through. We don't really have doors right now since everything's open. But had there been a door, he would have Kool-Aid man right through that door. And he was like, Caroline, come on, you got to come see something. And I was like, all right, let's go. And he was like, we just got this hydrangea and I've never seen it before. And I know you and you're going to have to buy it. And there were a lot of different hydrangeas sitting together. And I said, that's the one, isn't it? And it was. And it's this really pretty little trailing hydrangea. It like grows over and spills.
Yeah, it's so spilly looking.
It's unusual. It's definitely a different look. I mean, once you know it's a hydrangea, you're like, okay, I can tell. But when you look at it from a distance, it doesn't necessarily look like one.
No, it doesn't.
But it is.
Yeah, that's weird.
And he talked me into it before I knew how much it was. A little bit pricey. Totally worth it.
We don't get it that often.
I know. Well, and even Julie, our buyer, was like, Caroline, we have not had those in years and years. And she was like, and we only got 6.
And that was since...
So you better get one.
I've never seen it since I've been working here.
I've never even heard of it before. I don't think Austin had either. Yeah. We've been working here for half a decade, Tyler. Congratulations, Tyler.
Good job, us.
Listeners, guess what? Tyler and I started on the same day. And you know what day that was?
April Fools.
April Fools. We're still playing a big joke on Bates. They don't know what it is yet. We haven't told them yet. But it started on that day.
They think we're actually employed here.
Oh, good one.
I know.
It's been a wild ride. 5 years, though.
Yes, 5 years. It's commemorative.
Austin's been here 27 years. So that's just, I mean.
That's right. And you're 58 years old.
And I'm 58 years old. Austin's been here 37 years.
Yeah.
And Tyler's 15. So listeners, figure that one out. Kind of sounds wild.
Cranking up the decades here.
Did you do anything on Monday?
I actually went to visit my father. And we went to tour a music studio in Muscle Shoals.
That sounds like fun.
So
I like that area. I've been there a couple times. It is really pretty.
It is really pretty. You know, when you go to a new area, just in terms of landscape and flora, there's so much to take in. And, you know, the things that I noticed along the way, giant mimosa trees that were in bloom, planted near people's houses.
Yeah.
Long established oak leaf hydrangeas, very large deciduous trees. It's just always a treat when you get out of your head space and your garden space and get to absorb what's going on elsewhere, especially in a warmer area too, you know, because it's a little bit warmer south of here.
Where stuff gets a whole lot bigger.
But back in my garden, I have like an entire flat of stuff that I have not planted that needs to go in the ground.
What do you have?
Well, I've got some creeping thyme because we have plans, right? Plans.
We all have plans.
Yes, we have these large stepping stones. And of course, it's hot right now, you know? So that's like negative 10 to 20 points motivation.
Yeah.
We have these large stepping stones that go past my greenhouse. But right now, it's just like weeds and yard stuff. We want to...
Wait, what is yard stuff?
Yard stuff? Grass?
Weeds and yard stuff.
Yeah, you know.
I was like small tools in your way? Like what? Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, I can't name all the species. You know, it'd probably be like crabgrass and fescue.
I just consider that weeds. That's why I was a little confused. I like it. I like yard stuff. You know, weeds and yard stuff. No big deal.
So anyway, that all needs to be taken up and then cardboarded down. And then we're going to put something there. And then the creeping thyme's going in there.
Oh, I love it.
As like a nice something to fill in because it's just such a junky little path, but we need the little pathway. Mm-hmm. So... that's one thing. I got some silver posy thyme.
Ooh.
Really cute and bushy. Lovely, like white, green, variegated leaves.
Now, was this when we had all the herbs on sale? So is this like a tree of herbs?
That's right.
That's a lot what I was planning yesterday. Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, I also got some rosemary. I got some oregano. Now, I did get those planted. I also have some lemon verbena that hasn't found a place yet. I have a major wheeler coral honeysuckle that is just hanging out in the pot.
Yes.
And I desperately want it to be somewhere, but haven't gotten the perfect place for it yet.
You have no idea, front or backyard?
Probably backyard, because I've been trying to train vines along one side of my fence.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a star jasmine and I have a mandevilla, and then I'm like, okay, maybe the honeysuckle, because I know at least the honeysuckle will be able to stick around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and put that central and put the other ones kind of just where they look pretty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'll be so nice.
Yeah.
Your backyard is stunning. And I'm pretty sure your front yard is as well. But I know your backyard is, oh my gosh. You've got those pathways.
Yes.
It's very clean. You've got a pond.
I do have a pond.
So many frogs.
So many frogs, tadpoles right now. There's going to be so many more frogs.
So many frogs.
I'm kind of thinking, maybe we need to shift this focus into more like a wildlife restoration habitat now, because, we're at 9 adult frogs at least, and they can have hundreds of eggs in the pond. And I know that not all of them make it, but
that's going to be a lot of frogs.
Yeah. We probably need to see if there's some areas that are in need of refrogging, as they say.
I bet there are. Or you could have like little field trips to your backyard. Invite all the kids over, 20 kids at a time, to meet all the frogs.
That's a lot of kids. We will have to see about that.
You're like one child at a time.
Yeah. So those are Cope's gray tree frogs for folks who don't know about the frogs. They're native and they are so cute. They're a very cute frog.
Mm-hmm.
They're really tiny, like palm sized.
I get them at my house.
That's right. And they're just like, when you see them hanging out in the pond, they're adorable. And I know Austin would probably be giving me grief right now because
Why?
Well, that one time that I just started talking about
the birds.
Birds, like,
I remember that.
The cardinals. Well, this is the same thing with the frogs, man. I mean, they're my backyard roommates.
That's true.
And so they're in my pond, literally like spread, all their legs are spread wide open and they're just floating. So imagine this like motionless spread eagle frog just like going along with the little current bobbing around.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Little oasis back there.
Yeah.
And I mean, frogs are part of like the habitat. So it makes sense.
It does. They're also nestling themselves in the little crotches of the banana leaves. Where the leaves feed down into the stalk.
I know
they
what you're talking
get
about.
in there, and there's like water in there, so they're sitting in a little bathtub.
It is so cute how frogs sit and stuff. I find them in my rose blooms all the time. They'll be like right in the middle of it, just like napping on a little humid, warm summer day.
Yeah, do you remember the photographer? I think her name was like Anne, forgive me the last name, Geddes or
Is that the lady
Geddes?
that took pictures of babies as different vegetables?
Yes. We need to get those babies out of there and put frogs
in there. Bring her back. She was very popular in the 90s. I remember calendars were everywhere. Books were everywhere. You could buy like pre-printed photos to put in your bathroom.
That's right.
Babies on people's hands dressed as grapes.
That's right.
Now we need frogs. How did we get on this topic?
Now we need frogs. That's right.
Now this has nothing to do with plants. People are like, I came here for the plants.
Okay, well, let's bring it back around.
I'm leaving with the Ann Geddes frogs.
Let's bring it back around then. Do you have any fruit? Because I've got blueberries that have ripened, and I've been eating my gold raspberries.
My pear tree. I have a ton of fruit on my pear tree, which I do every year, but they never finish because I never treat any of my fruit trees with anything. These are trees that have just been on the property. There's no telling how long. Like this is a very mature, very, very big pear tree. But when I walk into my garden to check on things, I walk under the tree and sometimes they fall.
Really?
And sometimes they hit you in the head.
Really?
And they're not ripe at all.
In the head?
Yes.
Before?
Yes.
Oh, no.
They fall with such fury, such force that they could take you out. Wow. I mean, I've been fine.
That's good.
Yeah. But they're heavy because they're not ripe. They're not soft at all.
I don't need any of that.
That's the only fruit I have right now. I don't have any blueberries. My fall gold keeps producing, but I eat them as soon as I see them. So
how do you amass any of them when they're so easy to snack
I don't
on?
know how people, I see my friends with videos of like, look, we harvested our fall gold or heritage, whatever. And it's like a whole bowl. Well, they probably have a much more mature plant than I have, but I would still probably eat them all.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with my green beans. I keep on harvesting green beans because my green beans are going wild right now. That is doing best. And I've probably harvested like at least 50 beans off of it in the last week or so. I say it like it's one plant, but I think I have 8 plants. But then I eat them all by the time I get back up to my house.
Crazy.
They're just so good. Well, I
Yes.
did give a lot to my parents.
I
I did need those.
Probably 5 to 10 times more plant than I have right now for that plant.
For what plant?
Your
fall gold?
Gold raspberries.
Yeah.
Because there's just not enough volume. It's one that I'm just ravaging all the time.
I know. You know what? When we get done with this recording, you and I are getting out there. We're going to each get another one.
Where am I going to put it though?
I don't know. In your front yard.
I'm going to put it in your yard.
Done.
And come eat your berries.
You can come plant it in my yard and come eat my berries. I'd be totally fine with that. It's a little bit of a commute for you.
Yeah, it is.
But you're more than welcome. Hey,
a commute
Tyler,
and a
how about you
commitment.
get 10 of them? Plant them at my yard and come over anytime you want and eat those berries.
Woo, we're sharecropping now.
Done.
So
I got plenty of land.
pepper fans, this past show, we talked about how peppers have been late to come along. At least in our area, we've been cooler and things have been shorter. I'm pleased to report that my peppers have grown 1/4 of an inch taller.
Do you get out and measure it, or is this just an approximate?
That's an
eyeball.
I glanced it.
Okay.
They're currently getting completely overgrown and smothered by nasturtium right now, which for some reason that little beefcake is the beefiest.
I love that. The beefiest nasturtium, or
Yeah.
just the beefiest plant?
No, beefiest nasturtium. Like it's got to be a record for how big it is.
I
Usually
haven't
it's
grown
like
that in
really
years.
weak and scrawny. Yeah,
It's a good one, though.
It's a wonderful plant, and you can snack on that one too.
Yes, you can.
But it is kind of like, it's like a blanket over my peppers, and I'm like, guys, we need to clear out, and we need to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
We need to grow inches, not millimeters.
My peppers are still, they've grown. And like we talked about on the show, like Josh and I, ours have been producing, but the plant itself doesn't seem like it's really grown taller.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, although I did clean up a lot of my vegetable bed. I had powdery mildew on some things. I removed all those leaves. So my peppers look great. Like they look really, really healthy, but they're just not getting big and beefy, which is what we want.
That's right. And
that was a little ode to Austin.
That's right. And you'll hear more in further in the show about that as we cover that.
We will talk about that. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah. And
but it's veggie season.
It's
taken off.
Yeah. And I've got a fight against aphids in my greenhouse. They are very entrenched on my acorn squash. Squash is still like fruiting and then falling off. Like
of your acorn squash still?
Yeah.
You haven't gotten one fruit that's like set.
There are 2 or 3 now that are set.
Okay.
Further down the plant.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the butternut squash, but I'm really hoping it gets into gear.
My butternut squash, I don't have any yet.
Daddy needs some large squash fruit.
Daddy needs some squash right about now.
That's right.
I hope to get a ton of butternut squash. My plant itself looks healthy other than the powdery mildew, but hopefully I've taken care of that. But I haven't really had much. I haven't had any fruit sightings on that one.
Oh,
my
really?
summer squash I have. My acorn squash. I have another one. Can't remember what kind. But my butternut squash, it's a growing machine right now, but it's not fruiting. It's not even really blooming.
Well,
but it has buds all over it. Seems a little bit suspicious.
Well, we've had blooms. I did juice mine with some tomato tone because I'm not messing around this year.
Maybe I should go home with some.
Sarah literally has a paintbrush that's sitting at the base of the pot where she goes in there and she's just painting the blooms with, she's not messing around either.
Y'all are about to get 50 million butternut squash.
I hope so.
I feel like all of a sudden for both yours and mine, it's just going to be like overnight. It's going to take off and we're going to have so many.
Squashmageddon.
Squashmageddon. That's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make Austin try all the dishes that we make with him.
The Gordocalypse.
Because boy, does that man love butternut squash.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. I love all kinds though. And I'm excited about growing mine. Hopefully I got the powdery mildew off. We will see. But there's so much going on in all the gardens right now.
That's right.
Like so much blooming, so much vegetable stuff happening. And I'm still just planting so many things. Like even though it's like the dead of summer, and I know here we don't tell people not to plant this time of year, but it's not the most ideal time to plant most like shrubs and trees. But I am still planting it because I have them. And you can plant in the dead of summer. You just have to be very mindful and very aware of your plant and the weather patterns. Because it does get very dry and very hot here in Middle Tennessee.
And we're heading towards that heat with little rain.
Oh, my gosh.
As we speak, the end of this week will be cranking up.
I saw 91 one day.
That's right. And towards the end of June, we might be getting into the mid 90s.
Oh,
And, we're overdue. We're usually earlier than this. So watch your watering, everyone.
yeah. I'm not ready. I am not ready. But that is why I'm trying to get as much as I can in the ground before it just is unbearable to go outside after I get home from work. Because, we work with plants, we work outside. And then when we get home, like this time of year, I usually garden when I get home for a few hours. But soon I'm going to want to just be in the air conditioning, laying flat on my floor.
Yes. And to some of you who are north of us or in milder climates, this may seem like a distant dream, in which case enjoy your late spring splendor as you begin to warm up as well. There's just so much to be done.
We're about to be sweltering here in the state of Tennessee.
That's right.
But that's why we're here, the swampy state of Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, let's wade into the swamp of this past Saturday's episode, shall we?
Let's do it. Yeah, we had a special guest on this show. Who was it, Tyler?
That's right. It was musician and comedian Greg Hall, songwriter too. He had some great stories to tell and joined the fun, and also had some questions of his own in his own landscape.
He had some really great plant questions. So he was on the show, and then everyone else was here. Austin was here for the broadcast, as well as Josh Carey and David Bates. So let's go ahead and get into it. Enjoy.
And we have a special edition, one show only. Mr. Greg Hall.
One show only.
Glad to have him in here today. There you are, Greg.
There's Greg.
Good
Hey.
morning to you.
Good morning.
And Greg's going to be talking about upcoming event that he's got going on around. So anyway, this is Gardening Inside Out, and per usual, we're going to talk about what you want to talk about in your garden, in your landscape, and we've got wonderful growing conditions. But with that, a few problems can arise. A few fungal things, a few insect problems. But as a general rule, watering, or at least the need to do much additional watering, is not being the case so much. So welcome in, guys. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, what do you think? I'm looking over at Greg over there, and I see he brought in some little treats, it looks like.
Oh, I thought you were looking at his coffee.
No, I was looking beyond his coffee. What do you got there?
Coffee.
My breakfast mints.
Look at breakfast mints
Oh, look at that.
in
Those are-
jalapeno form.
Actually, I brought those
Look
for.
at that.
Yes. I actually brought those for him because he does a segment on his Facebook feed called Dinner with Vinyl.
Cooking with vinyl.
Cooking with Vinyl. So
Oh,
I would
what?
I would like to see those featured on Cooking with Vinyl.
Well, we're doing it tonight. so-
Okay.
And
is
we're going to
this?
use Beach Boys. I have like 600 old albums that I collected 100 years ago, and an album is 20 minutes a side, and it usually takes like 40 minutes to make a decent dinner.
Right.
And so we'll get in the kitchen and we'll play one side of, it could be AC/DC and then Les Miserables, or it could be Merle Haggard and
Annette Funicello?
yeah, well, no, Judas Priest. I mean, but the variations but tonight I think it's going to be a Beach Boys.
Oh,
Beach
yeah.
Boys night.
That'll be a good Beach Boys night.
The other one is a Shiseido pepper. Both
Put
of
those
these
in
were
a
purchased.
pan. Shishitos.
Look at those.
Shiseidos.
Oh, that's Ben's favorite pepper.
That's a handsome.
That's a
pepper.
lot of people's favorite.
Look at that.
That is delicious.
Showing it off.
What's its fire rate compared to, or is it
Milder.
hotter?
Mild. Usually not hot at all. Though Ben did tell me one time that sometimes you'll get a hot one. How's it taste over there?
I mean, they are mild.
Yeah.
Very mild.
Good
But-
flavor though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very popular
That's
in
like
Asia.
pizza.
All right. Pizza flavored peppers.
Pizza flavored peppers.
So,
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Austin, Caroline, what's been going on in your world this week? What is there anything remarkable you need to discuss before we move along with the program?
Kinda. I wonder how many plants I planted on Monday. Probably about 40.
Wow.
Dang.
4-inch to like 15-gallon pots. So I went wild in my
I'm
garden.
going to venture a guess that there were many more on the 4-inch
Oh,
side. than
there were many.
15
I would
gallon.
say probably like 30 of them were 4-inch, just sticking them in the ground. But I got a lot done. My landscaping looks amazing right now.
I saw a picture. You sent a picture to me and Tyler of your vegetable garden. It's as clean as I think I've ever seen it from you.
Thank you.
Did you
And
give
it's not that clean,
Did you
but-
give Tyler photos of that, or
I was not instructed to put it on, but I can get it.
perhaps you can? I mean, we're curious. We don't want to just talk about things. This is
We wanna
show.
see it.
This is show and tell, and that's the way we do it here. Greg, before we get into it here, Tell us what's going on in your world. I know you got a couple of shows coming up. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, thanks. But then I've got to ask you some questions
And
about
20
crepe myrtles and stuff and when to drink. Okay.
And
Yes.
22 seconds or no, you go ahead and put it on us.
We're doing a show called Comedy and Country, and Max T. Barnes is a songwriter in town. Max has written 11 or 12 number ones and songs on 20 million albums. But the funny thing is,
You know, strangely, between the two of you, you've still wrote 11 or 12 number ones.
and on 20 million and 6 album sales. But his father is Max D. Barnes,
Yes.
who's had songs on like 70 million albums. His dad wrote "Who's Gonna Fill Their Shoes" and
Oh, that's a great
and
song.
"Chiseled in Stone" and
Oh, I love that one.
Pam Tillis' "Don't Tell Me What to Do."
Keep going.
And but Max and I are doing a show called Comedy and Country because I do comedy clubs across the country and I play music when I do it. So we're getting together and doing this thing called Comedy and Country, and we're playing theaters in town, and we're playing Smyrna,
My
July
hometown.
the 5th,
Yes,
a
we
block
are.
from your house at the Station Theater.
So anyway, we're glad to have everyone tuning in today, wherever you're tuning in from.
Greg's
Live
quite the
from
gardener,
Nashville,
too, so.
Tennessee, and Greg will be talking about his upcoming performance a bit more, and we're going to pitch it back over to Caroline and Austin and see where we next proceed. I'm sure there are questions out there in the gardening universe.
Yes, there are. I'd say let's get into it. We're going to start with a pepper question because we've already touched on that a little bit this morning. Why are my peppers looking so far behind years past during this season?
Probably because of all the moisture. I hate to say it, but that's kind of how it is this year. Some people's peppers are fine. All right,
Somebody's
they're-
peppers
yeah.
are fine. Josh.
Josh's peppers are good. As long as it's well drained, peppers are usually doing fine because they're available to take up nutrients from the ground. Whenever a pepper stays too wet, it doesn't have the availability to take up nutrients from the ground. So it
And that
looks
is
like
why-
pale yellow.
And that is, explain to them why.
Well, there's just too much.
They're saturated.
They're saturated, yeah, and they're not available to take up. A lot of times iron. A
Yeah.
lot of times iron is the...
Plus, you do get dieback occasionally on the root system because of excessive moisture. You know, it's the roots are there to take up moisture. When there's too much moisture, you get dieback, which those are usually the little feeder roots, which are where that nutrition is going to be taken up most readily from. So when you have that kind of situation and your soil doesn't maybe perk really well, that's part of the ramifications.
And also, it's been cooler this spring.
Yeah,
Actually.
mine have kind of been sitting.
The plants
in
are
the
very
weather.
short, but they're very short, but they've got lots
Short,
of
but
blossoms.
sweet.
Yes, absolutely. And mine happen to be in a raised bed, but
Yeah.
it's my shortest raised bed. So I mean, there's not as much soil, so it
And
does
that
dry
has
quicker,
aided you in your production because they have drained well.
along with the earth mix that's in that. bed.
There you go. There's that.
Oh,
Yeah, I grew my peppers in pots this year. I didn't even fool with putting them in the ground because
Oh, I
I've had
didn't know
years.
that.
Yeah, years of me watching peppers sit there and not do anything.
Well, you live, we talk about this, but in a bog. So it's a little too wet for those peppers.
It's not a bog, but it is somewhat on the wet side. So yeah, I just put mine in earth mix landscape this year and just grew them in pots. And mine are still chilling. Like they're not super big and beefy yet, but they're getting there.
But peppers love hot weather.
Yeah, they're
we talked
particularly
about in the
waiting.
forecast. You know, that's coming out. You know, in about a week. So just be patient. We're going to have hot weather. We're going to be complaining about it really soon.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. But yeah, peppers should
ready.
start jumping here soon.
Yeah, mine are starting to, but like Josh, mine are in a raised bed, so they're staying drier, and it's finally getting a little hot. All right, staying on the edible plant topic, lemon thyme has yellow spots all over the leaves. Is it still okay to eat?
It's probably still okay to eat. It might freak you out a little bit. I mean,
A little
eating
scary.
that. I mean, it's probably a plant fungal pathogen, right? You know, nothing that would affect humans all that much.
Is it gross to
all
eat it
that
though?
much.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You got to try it.
Try
Let
it.
me know, I guess. Like I said, I don't think it's going to affect your health at all by eating it, but it might freak you out a little bit looking at it while you eat a yellowy spotted plant. I mean, any pruning you can do. Now, I know thyme has the tiniest leaves on the planet, so pruning them is kind of difficult. Now, if you can make major cuts, you know, and just like get the stems that are the worst out of it, it's going to
And maybe that's the
push
answer.
back out. Yeah, maybe it is. Just prune it.
If it's yellow spots, isn't it variegated? Isn't lemon?
There is
Lemon
one
thyme is
that
variegated,
yeah,
yeah.
variegated,
So
but
we-
it's not spots. It's like yellowing
Okay.
on the outside of the leaves.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
and, it's very
it looks
uniform.
normal. Like
Yeah.
if you see
Right, okay.
spotting that doesn't look normal, it's probably once again a product of our wet spring and just lower leaf damage, which is very common this year in wet springs. So in time hugs real close to the ground, so that's where you see most of your fungal issues.
So just bear with it, and the weather's going to improve.
Yeah.
within a week.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be okay.
What a great plant. Creeping Time. My Creeping Time's been in bloom for like 2 months.
I planted a lot of those on Monday. That was one of my big things.
Yep. TY, you got a lot of Creeping Time at your house. How's it doing?
No,
Tyler,
I
Mike.
You
completely-
muted yourself,
And my
Tyler.
camera's off.
are
Completely
you?
shut myself down.
We haven't even seen the Tyler cam yet.
No,
Well, that's
no.
true. There's Tyler.
You'll
Come on,
see
Tyler.
You'll see it in a minute.
5.
Well, he has a
4,
5-person
3,
limit per
2,
show on set.
1.
It'll get
Give you 5
there.
seconds. You're not there. We're
It's
moving
not.
on.
Okay. Yes, I have a lot of creeping time.
Uh-huh. How's it looking?
It's looking pretty good.
Good.
Actually, it's coming very well.
Nice. Glad to hear it.
Amazing.
Creeping time meant a whole nother thing when I was growing up. And but is it the spice thyme that is
Yes.
a creeping
Just
plant?
grows like this.
Now, speaking of time, we're gonna make a 90-degree turn here for just a moment. This has been a question that I would like for people to comment down below the video this morning. If you're tuned in today, just give me your answer as to an age. You know, when you're a little kid, a year seems like forever. You go from one birthday to the next. It seems more like a decade when you're a little kid.
Yep.
However, when you get into my age range, it's a decade seems more like a year. So, how old are you when a year seems like a year?
30.
That's kind of close to what I feel. Greg, what about you?
Yeah, 30-ish. Yeah.
I
Caroline?
haven't hit it yet.
Austin, you got any thoughts on that?
For me, it was like 32
Okay.
is my numbers when I was like, okay, this is flying. And now every year flies. My oldest daughter's 9 years old now. I can't even believe this. Like, that's
She's gonna be a
insane.
teenager very soon.
So anyway, you can put your
we're
you can put
clo-
that put
go
that
ahead.
year down there below. How old were you when a year seemed like a year? I've heard answers between 11 years old and 67.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe either of those. So,
Tyler, how about you?
I
You
did
muted
it. I
yourself
did it
again.
again.
What are you doing over
I'm
there?
dangerous.
You're out of control.
I'm actually very in
You're a
control. I
wild
can't even
card.
talk.
Oh no.
27 or 28.
all right.
We are specific.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Jesus year right there.
I just
Okay.
remembered the whole perception thing, you know,
When you get to the
and also being frustrated with it.
when you get to the time in your life where you realize that you are closer to Christmas this year than you are to New Year's last year,
Right.
we are. That's when you know the time is flying.
It's flying.
Well, there we go.
And
Well.
the kids.
Okay.
Speaking of flying, let's talk about crepe myrtle. Has nothing to do with flying,
Yes,
but that is our
yes,
segue
okay.
real quick. Like Jacqueline is asking a question on Facebook. I planted a few dwarf black diamond crepe myrtle that died back to the ground over the winter. And they came back, but they are very slow coming up, only about 4 inches tall at this point. Yep, that says inches. Is there something I can do to help push them out faster?
Make the sun come out.
Yes.
Yeah, make the weather warm up. You could fertilize to help out. That never hurts in the spring to come. But the black series of crepe myrtles are naturally slower. Even if they don't die back to the ground, they are slower to grow. They just are, and they're not like a crazy huge grower. So I mean, stick with it. Like David said, once this weather turns around and we start warming up, you're going to see that crepe myrtle jump. But let's go ahead and drop some fertilizer on it just to give it a little boost, and it might get up there.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix, featuring Garden Premium Topsoil Blend. This essential mix includes Tennessee subsoil, supernatural organic compost, humic acid, and mycorrhizal fungi to create a truly living soil. Garden topsoil is perfect for establishing raised, edible, and ornamental garden beds, as well as for planting trees, shrubs, and other landscape plants. Bulk and super sack options available. Visit earthmix.net to discover their entire line of soils and amendments and helpful blog posts. Success begins at the ground level when you use Earthmix garden products.
To help,
Yep.
we try our best to take.
Pardon me.
Love it.
The sound of magic.
That was an
Right
angel
there.
instrument. Yeah.
And we have another sound too.
What's in bloom?
With Austin.
Hello, everyone. Today
Hello.
is the week I decided to go with the pollinator plants. Okay, that's kind of what we went in with the studio. This is kind of the first couple weeks. I guess we've noticed a lot of bug activity. There's stuff going on. Hummingbirds are out there. There's a lot of stuff buzzing around
You
your
know
garden
why
right
they
now.
hum, don't you?
Yeah.
They don't know the words.
Oh, God.
There it is. There it is. But anyway, I went with the greatest pollinator plants that I could think of this week, and a lot of the stuff that's in bloom, and I decided to flip-flop it. Okay, so let's start with the trees. Let's go. Crepe myrtle's blooming a little bit. Golden rain tree still blooming yellow and fantastic. One of the best pollinator trees on the planet is mimosa trees, specifically for hummingbirds. Your mimosa trees, Caroline, I know you love them. Still popping off, going crazy. Hey, southern magnolia still blooming, gonna be for a while. I saw a random deciduous magnolia, Jane magnolia, blooming this morning.
Did you really?
What?
Where?
I did on White Creek Pike, right up the road. I'll show you. I'll show you after the show.
Yeah,
all
take
right.
us all out there.
Some of the shrubs that are still
trip.
blooming. Hey, Reese, your butterfly bush, I'm sure, is in full bloom right now. They call it butterfly bush for a reason. Okay, what a great pollinator for that. Your cannas, your callas, also still going. And then all of our hydrangeas still in full bloom. The Annabelles this year have been phenomenal. Okay. The paniculata hydrangeas, y'all, the ones that take full sun just fine, those are actually an excellent pollinator plant. Like, excellent. Annabelle's also the same way. You don't think about it so much, but they really, really are.
They're
all the
showing it
hydrangeas,
right now.
They are showing off. Hydrangeas are beautiful this year. And then let's go to those perennials. Shout out Bridge, who helped me yesterday a little bit gather some stuff and some ideas. We're going with these great perennial plants that are the best pollinators you can get, okay? Your alliums, those are just starting. Ornamental onions, they are just at the beginning, but man, the bugs hum around those. Shasta daisies looking white and pretty. Verbena
They don't know
bonariensis.
the words either.
Nope, they don't. And Verbena's big. They're looking great. I saw a whole field of those yesterday looking awesome. Coreopsis, tick seed, just everywhere.
Do you like
Phlox
that
looking
one?
great. I like Coreopsis, yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Surprising.
I'm not mad at it.
Shocking.
Mine are money.
There's just money this year. I'm telling
Mine
you.
look great. Mine are clean.
Echinacea going off. Butterfly weed. We brought that in the studio. That's this little orange right behind you, the milkweed. Hey, what about Russian sage? Shout out to Taylor from Oasis. I saw a picture of a job you did of a rooftop garden. This cool little scene of this
It is.
restaurant. She used a whole bunch of Russian sage on top of a rooftop. It is in full bloom right now, and that was a stunning picture. Taylor, hope you're doing well. Bee balm looking great, and the pollinators love it, and so does powdery mildew. Gross. I saw a picture
And not
yesterday.
you.
Lady had powdery mildew all over her bee balm. It looked
Yeah.
awful. I hope you're not dealing with that. Sorry. Black-eyed Susans, Caroline, they're going off. Gross. Salvia still blooming. Love it. And then
Josh looks
calamine.
mad about that. Right
Josh is mad. He's always mad at me for some of these things. Calamant, we brought that in the studio. That's blooming white. Bridge said yesterday that's a great pollinator plant. And then, okay, the goat. The goat of pollinator plants. We brought him in the studio today. This is a Southwest native. It's in the mint family. It's zoned 4 to 10. It's got edible leaves. Agastache. What you know
did
about
it.
hyssop? That's a common name. Hyssop. Y'all, right here in front of me. Look at this.
Yeah.
Every color you can think of. Pinks, purples, blues. Going off, y'all. The bees literally get on these. They have some drinks and they take a nap
It's
on the
so
plant.
cute when they take little naps.
They take naps on them. Not even joking. They are just so just
Money power.
just pollen
See that
drunk.
up there?
They can't even move anymore whenever they're on this. If you need to get some insects into your garden, you got a vegetable
know
garden
that
that needs some
feeling.
buzzing. Yeah,
Me too.
Don't we all? We all been there. And they just can't help themselves. They are all over Agastache. You need to up your insect garden. Y'all, get some Agastache. Come out here and see Bridge. Get every single color of the rainbow. It's fantastic. There you go. The goat of pollinators. Closing the book.
All right, Austin, way to go.
There we go.
Amazing.
Okay, now before we go further, I know Greg had a question that you were leading out with. You said that I think it was about crepe myrtles.
Well, also they say there are no stupid questions. Well,
Yeah, there are.
There's
yeah,
not.
yeah, get ready. Here
They're
comes-
just stupid people that ask questions.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
the
could
way
this
that
be a
works.
mistake?
It might be.
Uh-oh. Right when
Here
you're
we
about to
go.
ask a question.
I know.
So, something that is maybe confused with crepe myrtles that has pink flowers. That's the stupid question. Does anything,
That's it?
does
That's the
any-
question?
Yeah, does anything come to mind?
There are pink ones.
I think it's likely just some maybe more dwarf cultivar that
How big is it?
Well, mine is about 8 feet.
It's blooming
and I've
right
got
now.
2 or 3. Yeah,
That's crepe myrtle.
yeah, I think
It's blooming now.
yeah. I'm not sure.
Probably
I did-
crepe myrtle.
I didn't. but can I trim crepe myrtles right now?
Sure, bush. You can do anything you want to.
I mean,
to it.
we don't like. We wouldn't recommend that. You typically prune them over the wintertime, so you can
Oh.
really see the stems and see the shape. And they bloom on new wood, so it doesn't matter how you cut them.
Okay.
We generally don't cut this time of year, but you can. I mean, it's crepe myrtle.
you're gonna delay the flowering
Yeah.
time because you're gonna cut those buds off that advantageous wood that's getting ready to break out with the flower buds if they haven't already. So, you know, you probably still bloom. It will
Yeah, I'll
delay
let it
them.
go this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do it right now.
Okay.
I mean, if you had to do it out of necessity, because like you're walking by a path or something, and a limb's like hitting you in the head as
Yeah,
you
that's
walk by,
different.
like
Or
that's
blocked
a
a
little different.
stop sign or something.
Something like that, yes, then we can
Might
certainly
need to
take
cut
care
it.
of it. But if we really want Flower Power and a really good looking show this year, let's not cut until winter.
What color are
Thank
the
you.
leaves on
Thank
this
you.
one, Greg? Are they darker?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, either darker or lighter. I'm not really
One of the four.
Well, because the lavender crepe myrtles are gorgeous this year. I mean, they really are blowing up this year.
They're also, I don't know about you, David, but I feel like it's earlier this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think of crepe myrtle as like a 4th of July kind of thing, but like it
Yeah,
seems
some are
earlier
blooming
this
early.
year. Me and
It-
Steve were talking
It's
about
hard
this
to tell
yesterday.
at my house. We cut all of ours down and ground the stumps out.
Oh,
so
no.
we're going to be starting over again. So I don't have those big majestic natchez
Wow.
anymore.
Wow.
But they got a little overly majestic. They were
get huge.
And because of that, they were getting into the power lines. It was not a good choice. When you plant them at first and those power lines are, 17, 20 feet up there, you can, they'll never get up
never
there.
get there.
No, they do. They do. Because they can get to be 30 feet tall. So you wind up having a battle with the utility company. So frequently it's about getting the right plant in the right place and the right cultivar specifically. If you
place.
want to crepe myrtle and you want something to stay more compact, don't go with the natchez because it's a tree.
Yeah, most
A beautiful
definitely.
tree.
I was just talking to Ona on the lot yesterday. I tend to forget about dwarf crepe myrtles in like landscape scenarios. I need to remember that more because
Why would you forget that?
because I think of crepe myrtles as crepe myrtles. What we all kind of think of them as trees, but they're dwarfing varieties. That's the hybridizing efforts they're doing now is to really make crepe myrtles smaller and to be able to fit in tighter spots. So it's
There
like
are some really pretty small ones that kind of spill over.
Yeah.
On our drive home, I see
increasingly,
'em.
the yards that people have around their homes the spaces are quite confined. They don't have room for all this big stuff that perhaps was collected, many years ago, and now there's just a lot of
Mrs.
work.
Carey, Mrs. Carey keeps ours in control every year.
Well,
They-
I'm sure it's not limited to just crepe myrtle. Though.
That's true.
yeah.
Austin, I have one more question. I have, and you're the dictionary on horticulture. I don't know what kind of evergreen pine thing this is, but I've got a couple of trees, and a lot of the branches are brown and brittle. And it's on the side of the house, so it's not getting a ton of sun or as much water as it. But can you cut limbs off evergreen type things and not kill them? And also a type of fertilizer in addition to earth mix that I need to try to make these piney evergreeny things look
Better.
a little, to bring them back to health, because the brown limbs are just.
Are they bushy,
see
Greg?
them. No, they're
tall.
You know what they're pining for, likely.
yeah, a good
Sunshine.
caretaker.
Well,
yeah.
I think it sounds like sunlight or lack thereof to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if it's probably Leland cypress. What do you think?
There's a good chance.
That would be my guess because they're not.
I went to
pines,
high school
but-
with a guy named Leland
Did you?
Cypress. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Gym
I mean,
teacher, probably.
They are notorious for this canker
Yeah.
that can develop. It'll kill off whole limbs, and all you can do is just prune it off.
yeah, exactly.
Prune it. It won't kill it, and it's certainly a dead branch. It's
It
not
is a dead
adding-
branch. Yeah. they're
Yeah.
dead
Cut
Well-
it off all the way back.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, immediately, if you go out there and prune off all the brown off your tree, it will like greatly change it almost 100% just
Really?
to get the brown out of it. Yeah, I mean, just a basic
Appearance will
cleanup.
look good.
Yeah, don't even think about it. If you see
Yeah.
a brown limb, cut it right off.
Cool.
Just get it back to green, get all the brown out of it, and then you'll look at a tree and be like, okay, this is good.
Okay, I'll do that today.
Do it,
There
man.
you go.
Get home from the show and go out there and do it. Hey, we got an update from Risha about her butterfly bush that
Rish.
Austin had to buy her.
I
'cause
did
he
buy
lost
that.
a bet. Where did it go? Risha says yes, the butterfly bushes are popping, and so are the black-eyed Susans.
Yeah.
Take that, Kev.
Risha and Edward could come to the show that Greg's doing on the 5th of July and in Smyrna, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Okay. Right there. Right on Front Street.
I'm excited. About it.
Yes, you should be. Okay. Because you can get ice cream right down the street.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but Station Theater.
Okay. That's fine.
Enough of that.
Right there. Free parking across the street. Man, it's great.
Go get it. Hey, and Colin has sent us an update. Colin says, morning, y'all.
Hey, Col.
Austin.
Hey.
My lamb's ear.
Yeah.
Looking amazing today. The dew on the leaves. Perfection.
Good for you.
Yet another plant that Austin does not like.
Yeah. Just wait, Colin.
Colin's
Lamb's ear
already
gonna
been
do-
growing this plant for years.
Yeah.
He knows what
Just
to
wait.
expect.
Yep, just
Yeah.
wait. As fall
One-
goes
He
on.
knows what it's going to look like in the winter.
One of these
like all of
days.
your plants look perfect in the winter.
Not in the winter. I'm talking in the fall. Even in the growing season,
No.
lamb's ear starts to look gross. Right in the middle.
You're
Yeah.
being dramatic.
I'm dramatic for a
Being the
reason.
drama queen right now.
Lamb's ear's about
it.
to get dramatic.
Just
Dramatically
like
ugly.
you. Maybe it's taking after you. Dramatically ugly.
Yeah.
Now that was ugly.
I'm sorry, Colin. You're great. Your lamb's ear's great too. I love you. Hope you're doing well.
Colin's doing great. Good morning, Colin.
Hey.
And then Miriam's got a question. We actually talked
Miriam.
about this.
Miriam.
Good morning, Miriam. A lot on last week's broadcast, but Miriam says, it's time to watch for bagworms. I really don't want to spray. Can you talk about best practices for manual removal and control?
Yes, Miriam, I can. And that's look at your plant every day. If you see a bagworm, pluck it off, stomp it. Okay?
Miriam
Get out there and hang out with
obviously
those
didn't
bagworms.
read the newsletter this week.
Don't call Miriam out.
I'm
Maybe
not
she
sure
was
she did.
busy.
Yeah.
And
Miriam's always
we'll
busy.
talk. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Yeah. But anyway, Miriam, just scouting. We talk about scouting out here. We have to do it out here all the time looking for pests. Bagworms are pretty easy to scout for. I mean, you can see them. They're dangling bags from your tree. So anything you can just... What?
We got a new comment from Colin.
Oh, okay.
I'll
But
let you
anyway,
finish.
well, okay, all right. But yeah, Miriam, just do some scouting. Look at it before you have to spray.
This is the weird little factoid that when you're trying to pick those off, they're very camouflaged. They want to blend right in, and in order to see them all, you kind of have to turn your head sideways, and then all of a sudden, all these will appear that you just couldn't see. But you think you've gotten every one. You've taken hundreds off, and I've got them all, and then you go, oh, there's a couple hundred more.
There's 100 more.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what difference the axial plane that you're viewing it from has
Axial plane, Greg.
to. However, it does
Is that
make a
bigger than the
difference.
737?
It makes a difference, and so if you, but the problem of it is that when you're picking them right now, you're picking bags that either had juveniles in it, which is more likely right now, or have them in there, and that means many have gotten out. And you have to spray because you've already waited too late. Those should have been picked at least a month ago. That way you could have gotten them in the bag. So probably need to spray. Permethrin is what we typically recommend. It's the most benign of the chemical applications that you can put on there that will give you a satisfactory level of control. So.
Are we talking about those worms that build those big? White
Yeah, they're
trees?
about that
No,
big.
no,
Yeah, absolutely.
They're about,
huge.
They're about that long.
I mean, they're nests.
You're talking about tent, you're talking about tent caterpillars.
Tent
Yeah,
caterpillars.
or fall
Other
webworms,
ones that look
yeah.
like Christmas ornaments that hang from the
Little bitty.
Dangle. Yeah.
Not little bitty. They're like this big. And they just dangle from the...
We had the
They
big,
blow in
growing
the
up in
wind.
Odessa, Texas. We had the big.
Those are the
thing.
big tent caterpillars.
Yeah,
Yes.
and back in the dark ages when I grew up, my dad would get a torch and it looked like the townspeople on
Yes.
Young Frankenstein just coming out, and we'd burn them off the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do that. And hey, before we leave Miriam, you bought a dappled willow, tree-formed dappled willow a few weeks ago. I want to know how that's doing. Take a pic, send it to us, please.
Water
we
it,
definitely
water
need
it,
to see
water
that.
it,
She's been
water
watering
it.
it, I guarantee
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And the sky has also been watering it.
Yep.
All right. I do want to get to Colin's lamb's ear. So we're wrapping back around. Colin says, and these are all in 5 bullet points. It looks good year round. I'm going to name it Austin.
Yeah.
Just for spite.
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2. Austin
Austin,
and Kev.
All
got a
Colin,
lamb's ear
I'll
named
take
after
it.
you.
I
Both
guess I'll take
names.
it. And you're one of the lucky ones in the world that's got a lamb's ear that looks good all the time. So
I'm going to come
you're
plant
lucky,
one
man.
in your yard in the middle of the night.
Gross. You know, some say there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. But we say Bates Nursery is. Located in Nashville, Tennessee, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is a separate world unto itself. They feature the widest variety of plants, including trees, shrubs, native plants, perennials, houseplants, and specimen evergreens. Their knowledgeable staff will assist you with any gardening needs, catering to any experience level. Open year-round, and Caroline, tell them how to get here.
Bates Nursery is located minutes from downtown Nashville off Briley Parkway, exit 19 in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. You'll see it's worth the drive from anywhere. No time to visit the nursery? Shop online with delivery and pickup options available for the greater Middle Tennessee area at www.batesnursery.com.
So if you want to learn a lot about living and a little about love, Visit Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
We've got a couple questions about limelight hydrangeas not blooming just yet. So is there something wrong, or should they just wait it out?
No, wait it out. The limelight is literally like last of the panicles. Like
Mine's not blooming.
Yeah, I've got Quickfire at the house, which is blooming right now. It's like early stage blooming, and hence the name Quickfire. I mean, it's the quickest. It's like the first one to go. Wait it out on your limelights. They have a massive head on them, and they have to. All those petals have to fill out, so it takes a while for that to happen. So just give it some time.
Everything's late arriving, pretty much.
It seems like it, yeah. But limelight's always the last, so just stick it out. It's going to be fine. The only way that limelight hydrangea wouldn't bloom is like a way deep shade environment.
Yeah.
And even still, they'd probably throw some.
You probably get a few. I have some that I just planted that are getting a little too much shade. I was like, I'll just see how they do. I had to get them in ground. It's the strawberry vanilla. I bought 3. Didn't have anywhere to put them, but found somewhere. All right, we have another hydrangea question. Best way to keep dark spots and disease from hydrangeas. Is there a preventative solution?
There is. I mean, there's fungicides are preventative. Okay, so if you start on that early and often in the spring, you can keep the dark spots and off of them. Now, just pruning out lower leaves. The spots are going to be mainly on lower leaves. If you take some leaves off that are the worst and spotty, like I was talking about with your tree earlier, you take some of those leaves off. You immediately make your plant look better. So the leaves are not going to get back green again. People, we've talked about this. So if you got the spots, just prune them off.
Do it. Get them out of there.
It's addition by subtraction.
Yeah, exactly.
My oak leaves are very spotty, but they look great. They're blooming. I love them. I just leave them alone. This is from George. I believe I'm not wearing my glasses, but that looks like the email.
Yep.
I'm a dedicated listener to the podcast. I enjoy listening every week, and I hope you might be able to help with a big garden decision. A hackberry tree came down in my backyard. It missed the Japanese snowbell I just purchased from Bates, but landed on my 4-year-old Japanese maple. Two-thirds of the tree
That's a hackberry for
is
you.
damaged. The tree was just starting to look good. What do I do now? Before and after pictures attached. So they're just looking for advice. Do they prune it? Do they need to move it? Just bite the bullet, tear it out, and start from new?
Well,
Can we
this
get
is
that
almost-
photo up, Tyler?
In a way, it's a blessing because that hackberry would have put that black soot on your beautiful Japanese maple.
Josh, you were right about that.
Absolutely.
Those woolly aphids would have been everywhere.
Oh gosh, look at that thing though. It
Okay.
really
Devastated.
whacked it.
Okay, here's the bad news. It's not going to recover
No.
beautifully this year. Because that first flush in the spring is where you really get the growth. However, now it's probably, is that a Virides or what?
No,
is it?
probably.
What? Maybe waterfall.
Maybe waterfall, yeah.
They're more sun tolerant. I don't know how much shade that the hackberry was throwing on it during
There's
the hot
still
part
a
of the
bunch
day.
of them, though.
However, you can cut it back, get it shaped back up, and just leave it alone.
Yeah.
See what happens.
It's unfortunate. The things like this happen in gardening, and whenever something like that happens on a perfect plant, it's really
sad.
devastating.
Sad.
But like David said, let's wait it out for this year. Let it photosynthesize and keep, getting back healthy. Prune it back a little bit over the winter. And we can help with that too. If you want to bring me some pictures or whatever, I can kind of help you like play with which limbs to keep and which not. Now, if you want to just replace it, I certainly understand if you don't want to wait that long because maples are slow. I mean, they really are. And you've waited 4 years for it to get perfect like that, and then this happens. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Now,
That's no fun.
I will be a strong advocate. I'm a guy that, we make our living out of selling plants.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say in this case,
Give it some time.
I would cut it back, get that head on it symmetrical,
Yeah.
and wait till this time next year before you make the decision. You're going to find that's going to fill all in nicely. It's going to be beautiful. Transplanting it doesn't make sense now. You should have did that, a couple weeks ago before the tree fell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have that kind of power, what are you wasting your time gardening for,
Yeah.
So you could, all other things you could be doing. So
Yep.
I would prune it back and give it a shot to start to break
See
back
what
out.
happens.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
it'll come back.
What?
we're out of time.
Oh,
No.
Really?
Oh.
We have gotten through an hour. It has gone, per usual, extremely fast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week and being a part of this program and giving us stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Have a lot of fun.
Yep.
Thank
Greg,
you guys, all of y'all.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it very
joining
much.
us.
for being
It's
here
been too
today.
long since you've been here, Greg, so you'll have to come back. All righty, folks. Music means that we are finished with this edition, but next Saturday morning we're going to come back here to the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Tomorrow is the last Sunday for the until fall.
That's correct. That is
okay.
Sunday the 15th. That's our last one until fall season. So come on in, celebrate Dad.
Yep.
Do all that.
Get some Agastachias.
Yeah.
Some
He may not know he wants them, but
He knows. He does. He
He
wants them.
absolutely does.
Andre
Thank you, folks.
Agastad.
Like, share, listen to the podcast. You do all the social media stuff, and we'll see you here next week because we love doing it for you. It's Gardening Inside Out from Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.